So Adam Chebot-Goldman, a convicted felon that went to prison for a month and had to pay $1,000 fine for online harassment, false flagged my second Twitter account. It also false flagged my first Twitter account and got it suspended, which was a foregone conclusion, and I knew what was going to happen. That's why. Why do you think I didn't bother uh, creating an avatar for this account? Because I knew that it was just a matter of time until Jewish supremacists like you would false flag my account and get it suspended. And conveniently, it happened around the time of all the Epstein stuff, because because Jewish supremacists are trying to suppress the Epstein stuff because they were bribing and blackmailing people in power to benefit Israel. Adam Chebot-Goldman gets paid in Bitcoin to harass, threaten, slander, and censor people that criticize Israel. It's getting paid by Israel using a intermediary, likely Beitar or the ADL. That they also paid for Chebot's legal fees when I filed criminal charges against it. Had a whole entire law firm protecting it. But your censorship is not going to work because we're going to go over the entire Epstein files that I posted. All the Epstein stuff I posted on my Twitter, we're going to go over it so it's preserved forever. So let's read this one. Trump accused of raping a 13-year-old in newly released Epstein files. Newly released Epstein files mention Trump in some really messed up claims. One says girls got brought to his Mar-a-Lago place for these calendar girl parties, where Epstein supplied them and things got auctioned off or whatever. Another tip claims kids were abused, checked for tightness, so they were touching uh, these underage girls' vaginas and seeing how tight they were by touching their vaginas, and basically sold to rich guys. A few reports name Trump, Epstein, and Giselle Maxwell directly. One really dark one says a girl was 13 when Trump raped her, forcing oral sex and more in rooms. These are just summaries of complaints and tips in the files. The government calls a bunch of the Trump stuff untrue and sensationalist. This is the Trump regime, by the way, that's saying that these are untrue, because of course they're going to say it's untrue because they're implicated in it. Claims from around 2020, blah, blah, blah. So let's just take a closer look. So you can just, I'm not going to read every little thing, but you can read it yourself. Hopefully you can see all of that. Let me just scroll up a little bit here. There you go. Okay. So Trump is being blackmailed with this stuff. This says the same thing. So I'm not going to read every little thing, but you can read along, and there's going to be some bonus stuff too. This is all stuff from my buddy Yusuf. This says the Justice Department has deleted all the files which had various allegations against Trump, including rape and trafficking, in the newly released Epstein files today. It's going to be kind of hard to read some of this stuff. It's like all not being sized correctly, but you get the idea. You can read yourself to see what's going on here. New Epstein files alleged forced oral sex, Trump named. Trump accused of raping 13-year-old in newly released Epstein files. Just in, FBI report citing a confidential human source released in the final batch of Epstein files claims Trump has been compromised by Israel. Once again, you can just read on your own all this stuff. It's going to be kind of hard to read it because of the janky ass formatting, but you get the idea. Go to their fucking FBI website if you want to see all the close-in deets. So this is saying you should make it clear that I don't work for Mossad, Epstein says. Former Israeli Prime Minister Ehud Barak. You or I. Epstein says that I don't. Smiley face. Get a little close-up view of this shit. Look at all this Epstein shit that they're trying to hide, that Jewish supremacists are trying to hide, because they were blackmailing all of our politicians this entire time. And Epstein was a Mossad agent or Mossad asset that was doing all this stuff to blackmail people in power and influence, including Bill Clinton, in order to get them to serve Israel's interests. They wanted Bill Clinton to pardon the Jewish traitor Jonathan Pollard. I talked about that in previous videos. New Epstein files allege Israel controlled Trump during his first term. Kushner ran everything. An unclassified FBI report based on information from a confidential human source alleges that during Trump's first term, Israel exerted significant influence over his administration and that they had compromised Trump, with the Kushner family being the real brains behind his organization and his presidency. Once again, I'll just get a zoom in on this so you can read it yourself. It's kind of small writing. Let me see if I can get a little bit better. Slightly better. It's going to be a little hard to read, but pause the video and read it yourself, my dudes, for all the deets. So let's see. Trump nominates Kevin Warsh to be the new head of the Federal Reserve. Kevin is the son-in-law of Ron Lauder, the president of the World Jewish Congress, which calls for the destruction of Israel's enemies. Israel runs every aspect of American power. Another Youssef tweet. Make sure you follow Youssef. Youssef is good peoples. Youssef is good peoples. Can't follow me anymore since, well, anyway. You can't censor me. You can't censor me, Jewish supremacists. A woman tells Masha a woman named Masha tells Epstein he should only work with genetically tested Jews. What the? That is gross sounding. Claiming it correlates with being smart. Not in my experience. In my experience, these are some of the dumbest motherfuckers on the planet. She told Epstein, "You're 98% Jew. You're very smart." Victim Maria Farmer said Epstein and Giselle would talk often of their superiority to Gentiles. This is what Jewish supremacy is about. This might be cut off a little bit. Well, you get the idea. Emails from 2011 show that Jeffrey Epstein and an associate named Greg Brown discussed plans to extort Libyan officials and seize state assets under the pretext of helping rebuild the country, with involvement with former MI6 and Mossad. The correspondence took place during Libya's civil war, weeks before Muammar Gaddafi was removed from power. By the way, he was sodomized. They stuck bayonets up his ass. He died in one of the most painful ways possible, indicating the plans were devised while regime was still in control. Is it going to get cut off? This one's not too bad. You kind of can read. Pause and read, my dudes. Pause and read. And there you go. Moving on. Nikki Haley gave Trump a blowjob. This is disgusting. These are such disgusting people. You know, I have infinitely more respect for porn stars and prostitutes and other sex workers, you know, OnlyFans girls and all these other people, because at least they're honest. Like they don't try to hide who they are and what they're doing. But these tramps, these whores, they do the same thing, but they do it behind closed doors. But in front of the cameras, they put on a family-friendly face, and it's all a facade. It's all a lie. This is what these pieces of shit are really like behind closed doors, and they disgust me so much. I have so much more respect for sex workers when I read shit like this. These people are fakes. Jeffrey Epstein had a list of Australian prime ministers plus Mark Latham with targeting written on top with what looks like blackmail ideas, as per below. So, like I said, this is how Jews control foreign governments through blackmail. Blackmail and bribing. Very gross, very disgusting. Let's watch this video.
Scum that screw little girls so the Jews can screw America. That's what's happening in this country. I just said it. That's what's going on in this country. And our FBI is corrupt. The Supreme Court is corrupt. The Justice Department is corrupt. The news media is corrupt. The whole country is corrupt because we've walked away from Almighty God and we've allowed Kabbalah practicing Jews to defile the nation. Put that video out. Go ahead and clip this video and send it out. I dare you. You won't do it because you're scared that the truth may get out to the American people. I'm had it up to here with the corruption in this country. Little children being raped for the benefit of Israel. That's all it's about, Doc. Little American children being raped for the benefit of Israel. American politicians raping little American girls to be videotaped by Israeli Mossad so that Israel can blackmail American politicians. That's the state of America today. God ought to destroy this country for what we've become.
Yeah, a lot of people are pissed off. They're sick of it. And the people are waking up, the American people are waking up because they are sick and tired of our country, the United States of America, being blackmailed, our politicians being blackmailed and bribed to support this degenerate foreign country, which the United States is not in an alliance with. Every time Jews say that United States is in an alliance or Israel is America's greatest ally, no, Israel is not in any alliance with the United States of America. It's not part of NATO. The only reason why United States unconditionally supports the foreign country of Israel is because Jews blackmailing and bribing our politicians, and we are sick of it. NBA star Stephen Curry's ties to Israel intelligence exposed. The league's all-time three-point leader has begun quietly pouring tens of millions into tech ventures owned and operated by Israeli spies. The Gray Zone posted that. They're good peoples. So Max Blumenthal from the Gray Zone says Chabad is doing everything they can to co-opt the Trump presidency. Chabad is basically state-sanctioned Judaism. Jared Kushner, Ivanka, Howard Lutnick, Javier Milei, whatever the fuck his name is, are Chabad cultists. Trump's special anti-Semitism envoy, that's a fucking joke. Rabbi Yehudi Kaplan, Clownplune is a Chabad bigwig. Look at this disgusting photo. Look at this disgusting photo. Disturbing photos in Epstein files appear to show Andrew on all fours over female sprawled on the floor. And very likely underage. It's hard to tell, but very likely underage. Latest Epstein files allege that Prince Andrew tortured a girl before instructing her murder. Unbelievable. These sickos. These disgusting people. I hate them so much. I hate these scumbags so much. Pause and read, my dudes. Pause and read. Because we gotta move on. There's so much garbage. There's so much filth. New Epstein document states George Bush I Sr. allegedly raped a male victim, child, and witnessed a type of ritualistic sacrifice. This should tell you everything you need to know about what people were screaming from the rooftops about for years. Yeah, like I could not believe this. And I didn't believe this before. I heard rumors about this stuff, but I didn't believe it until all this filth, this disgusting filth came out. It's just so gross. I believe it now, obviously. Like thank goodness at least like not all the Epstein files have been released, but thank goodness at least this stuff has been released. These are sick, disgusting people. Unbelievable. George Bush 1, George H.W. Bush, and you know that George W. Bush also did this kind of shit. Bassem Youssef commentary. Elon Musk, I'm disappointed in you. You said that Trump was involved with Epstein. I didn't know you were seeing them together there. How ironic. Elon Musk had more extensive ties to Epstein than previously known. Bill Gates begged Epstein to delete evidence of his STD. Yuck. Emails Epstein sent him in 2013 claimed Bill Gates caught an STD from Russian girls and begged him for antibiotics to secretly give Melinda Gates. Wow. Oh man. You implore me to please delete the emails regarding your STD, your request that I provide you antibiotics that you can surreptitiously give to Melinda, and the description of your penis. Source Daily Mail. These people are disgusting. They're such disgusting people. Epstein trafficked 3 girls to Elon Musk. I think you can just read it here, right? Hello, Marion. Blah blah blah. Just you can read it yourself. Oh, this video. I remember this video. Let's watch it.
¡Comieron humanos! ¡Asquerosidad! ¡Comieron humanos! Yo no estaba enterada de nada. Que había, o sea, de los asesinatos sí, pero que habían comido humanos. ¡Humanos! Fue de la carne humana. ¡Comieron humanos!
I mean, do I need to say anything to that? It's unbelievable, right? Like when you go through this garbage. 2009, 21-year-old Gabriela Rico Jimenez, am I pronouncing that right, was filmed after claiming she had attended an exclusive elite party. She vanished that night, never to be seen again. In 2026, Epstein's victims claim elites did the same. Let's look at this. Unbelievable. That poor girl. A little girl is heard asking Jeffrey Epstein, "Where are you taking us?" Yeah, you can hear it at the end. Disney CEO Bob Iger and JP Morgan CEO Jamie Dimon both retiring as the Epstein files come out. Yeah, because they're in it. They're fucking in it. Oh yeah, I remember this. Witness says Robin Leach strangled a young girl to death at a party. So Robin Leach, he was that host of that show, Lifestyles of the Rich and Famous, and he strangled a girl to death at a party. You might not be able to read this. Complainant claims to have a video of high-profile sex parties, dealings with cartels, and having witnessed Robin Leach strangle a young girl to death at a party. These sick, disgusting murderers. I fucking hate them so much. I wrote this. I'm basically saying what I just said before. My God, I knew that our politicians were being blackmailed and bribed by Jews, but seeing it all come out at once leaves me stunned, and stunned to see how sick and depraved these degenerates really are. The downfall of Jews and Israel is nigh. Yeah, fuck. Fuck these motherfuckers. New Epstein files confirmed that Jeffrey Epstein wasn't just trafficking children, but torturing them, possibly to death. In an email Jeffrey Epstein sent to an unknown person, Epstein states, "I love the torture video." DOJ attorney Todd Blanche confirmed today at a press conference that they did not produce images showing death or physical abuse. Why is the name on that email being redacted? We don't need to watch that video. Some stuff I posted. Victim claims he was raped by George Bush in the new Epstein files. While on a yacht, he witnessed African American males having sex with white blonde females, all of whom were bleeding during intercourse. He was a victim of a type of ritualistic sacrifice in which his feet were cut with a scimitar but left no scarring. On the yacht, he witnessed babies being dismembered, their intestines removed, and individuals eating the feces from these intestines. Oh my God. He was also raped by George Bush 1. Just take a look at that email real quick. I don't know why this was censored. Why was this censored? X should not have censored that. Why is it not coming up? What's going on? Here we go. Hopefully you can read all that. I hate these people. I really do. So, yeah, this was noted by, we'll just move on. Epstein was communicating with Mossad through Alan Dershowitz. Epstein and Dershowitz would have phone calls, and Dershowitz would allegedly speak with Mossad and provide debriefings. Epstein was trained under former Israeli Prime Minister Ehud Barak. It's a little blurry, a little hard to read. This is the same video that we saw before. It's so disgusting. Yeah. She was a 21-year-old Mexican model, and she vanished after this video because she was murdered. This bizarre video of Jeffrey Epstein chasing girls around his kitchen was released in the latest Epstein files yesterday. I mean, the video just keeps on going on and on. What a sicko. What a fucking sicko. We need to make sure the history books do not write about the victims in Gaza. Mike Pompeo, the piece of shit. I don't even need to play that video. Fuck that piece of shit. Epstein. This is the way the Jew make money. Short shipping stocks. Let the Goyim deal in the real world. He was a Talmudic Jewish supremacist who viewed white girls as cattle to be used and abused. Yeah, it's going to be cut off. Let me see. Yeah, you get the idea. This is how these Jewish supremacist scum view everyone else as goyim, as filthy, disgusting animals. In 2009 email to Jewish American academic Roger Schenck, Jeffrey Epstein disparaged non-Jews and bragged about profiting from financial speculation, claiming success by short shipping futures while Goyim bore real economy risks. This is the way the Jew make money and made a fortune in the past 10 years, selling short the shipping futures. Let the Goyim deal in the real world. So you can kind of read that. It's a little bit better if it's on the screen. From what I just read yesterday, human sacrifice, torture, and murder of children and victims. They can't be human like us. I think this says, thanks, I didn't realize Bush raped them too. Okay. Yeah, this is what we read before. Newly released image captures the Melania movie director Brett Ratner and convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein cuddling with two girls. Russia Today says, Peggy Siegel, is it going to be 100% Jew night? Epstein, no goyim in abundance. So this is how these Jewish supremacists view non-Jews. They hate all non-Jews, all the goyim. It's all going to be cut off, but I mean that says it all. They view all non-Jews as subordinate to Jews. A redacted Epstein files image shows what looks like a baby between two pieces of chicken. Other files refer to witness testimony of cannibalism. And I agree with this. Oh my God. I don't even remember this. Oh my God. I didn't even remember this fucking photo. This is disgusting. A baby in between two pieces of chicken.
Headlines that were featured over at Drop Site News because they poured over the Ehud Barak emails to Epstein, which of course were leaked as part of a hack. They also reported on the various documents and emails that were released by both Democrats and Republicans in the House Oversight Committee. So with that in mind, I mean, this is based on hard evidence. They were able to report the following stories. Epstein helped broker an Israeli security agreement with Mongolia. Interesting. Epstein helped Israel build a back channel to Russia during the Syrian civil war. That's not all. Epstein helped Israel sell a surveillance state to the Ivory Coast. So let's get to some of the headlines that were featured over at Drop Site News because they poured over the Ehud Barak emails to Epstein, which of course were leaked as part of a hack. They also reported on the various documents and emails that were released by both Democrats and Republicans in the House Oversight Committee. So with that in mind, I mean, this is based on hard evidence. They were able to report the following stories. Epstein helped broker an Israeli security agreement with Mongolia. Interesting. Epstein helped Israel build a back channel to Russia during the Syrian civil war.
Okay, so it's just looping now. I don't know how long that was playing for, but yeah. It was saying at the bottom, Ben Shapiro claims there's no evidence tying Epstein to Israel. Of course he's going to say that. Ben Shapiro is loyal to the foreign state of Israel. That's the country that he is loyal to. That's the only thing he cares about. He only cares about Jews and Israel. He does not care about anything else. He's a traitor. I fucking told y'all that Epstein was linked up with Chabad in St. Thomas. Here's an email from the Shumalin, I don't know what that fuck is, Rabbi Fetterman that Chabad dispatched to the tropical isle offering to visit Lil St. James. You can read this, hopefully. Let me see if I can open it up in the new thingamajig. Is that getting cut off? Yeah, it's getting cut off. Epstein and someone from the Rothschild family discussed the coup in Ukraine after Maidan. Am I pronouncing that correctly? In 2014. Epstein, the coup in Ukraine should provide many opportunities. Many. Rothschild, I miss our conversations and hope you are doing well. I'll be home tomorrow evening. Will you be free? And let's discuss Ukraine. So Rothschild, this ugly motherfucker, is talking to Epstein. This is probably going to be cut off, right? An FBI source reported that Alan Dershowitz is a Mossad agent in 2020 and that Dersh tried to ward U.S. Attorney Acosta off from investigating Epstein by warning him that Epstein is U.S. intel and Mossad. And by the way, Dershowitz defended O.J. Simpson after he murdered his wife and a Jew named Ron Goldman. So much for Jewish loyalty. This guy is filth, complete filth. Let's see. According to the report from the Epstein files, Jeffrey Epstein allegedly communicated with Mossad through Alan Dershowitz with phone calls followed by alleged Mossad briefings and was reportedly trained under former Israeli Prime Minister Ehud Barak. Kind of read a little bit, right? I think you can read a little bit here. Scroll down. It's always tricky to get the centering right. There we go. That's kind of close enough. This is the way the Jew make money, selling short the shipping futures, let the goyim deal in the real world. So this is the thing that we talked about before. Breaking, Barry Weiss connected to Epstein. So Barry Weiss was installed, actually it just says it right here, terrorist and murderous Barry Weiss, who was installed to subvert CBS by Larry Ellison. So obviously Barry Weiss is a Jew, Larry Ellison is a Jew, has been exposed in the Epstein files as her wife Nellie, whatever, Bolis was a close friend of Jeffrey Epstein. The emails also show Bolis connected to Masha Dorokovova, who is a Jewish supremacist that told Epstein to only work with genetically tested Jews. This is such race pseudoscience BS. It's such race science BS. The people who believe Jews are a race are Jews. Okay, plain and simple. They just rename it ethnicity. They just call it by a different label. Okay, but this is race science crap. All of this garbage. So sick. And this is all blurry and shit, right? It's probably kind of hard to read, but you can kind of make it out. Pause. Read. Let's go back. Yeah, Barry Weiss was installed as the editor-in-chief of CBS to promote a pro-Israeli agenda by censoring pro-Palestinian stuff and advancing pro-Israeli stuff. And liberals want us to still believe that Jews don't control the media, by the way. Ian Carroll says, remember, every single crime documented in the Epstein files was done on behalf of Israel. They want you to focus on the scum that abused the girls. Remember that every single act of abuse was part of an Israeli blackmail ring founded, funded, and designed for Israel to gain control, and it worked. I agree. The reason why America unconditionally supports Israel is because of all of this blackmail in addition to bribery, among other things. Epstein referred to non-Jews as goyim throughout the Epstein files. Yeah, I don't need to go through all this. I mean, you already saw it, how these Jewish supremacists view anyone who isn't Jewish as this word they call them, goyim or goy, which means like filthy, disgusting animals. That's how they view all non-Jews. Jake Shields says goyim basically means nigger, and they view all non-Jews this way. That is correct. It's basically the N-word for anyone who isn't Jewish. Fuck these pieces of shit. LOL, Epstein casually explaining that Jews create vast fortunes through financial speculation, market crashes, and exploiting the labor of unsophisticated goyim. So many stereotypes contained in one email. And it turned out those stereotypes were correct. The Epstein files proved it. APAC tracker, another 6.67 billion approved to Israel. Leaked Epstein emails reveal MBZ masterminded the Khashoggi assassination to topple MBS. Explosive documents from Jeffrey Epstein's private archive confirmed that the murder of Jamal Khashoggi was a high-level conspiracy orchestrated by Mohammed bin Zayed to sabotage and isolate Mohammed bin Salman on the global stage. The investigation reveals the setup. The operation was an Abu Dhabi-led entrapment designed to frame the Saudi leadership. The leak. Execution videos were intentionally leaked via hacked devices to trigger an international outcry. The cover-up. MBZ urgently summoned Epstein as the crisis unfolded to manage the fallout. This is no longer a theory. It's documented betrayal that changed the course of Middle Eastern history. Yeah, I remember all this. And I believed it. I still don't know all the details, but it seems like this was a conspiracy because guess what? Conspiracies do happen. And the people who are trying to discredit conspiracies, conspiracy is a real crime you can be charged with. You can go to prison for conspiracy. Okay, and the people who engage in conspiracies the most are Jews. I mean, this is all conspiracy stuff. So whenever they accuse you of conspiracy theory, they're trying to discredit someone for calling out a real crime. Because look at all of the conspiracy crimes that Jews are implicated in. Jeffrey Epstein regularly talks in his emails about being Jewish. He specifically targeted white girls on the grounds they were non-Jewish. If a Muslim had done this, he would constantly be described as a Muslim child rapist, but his race is never mentioned. Yeah, because the media is controlled by Jews. I made another video about that. Yes, the media is controlled by Jews. The president, the CEO of the parent company of CNN, which is Discovery, the CEO is David Zaslav, and he's a Jew. And he said in an interview in Israeli TV that his hero is Menachem Begin, a literal Jewish terrorist that blew up the King David Hotel, murdering over 90 people. A literal Jewish terrorist. These are the people who control our media. The likes of Tommy Robinson, Kate Hopkins, Laza, Fox, Dave blah, 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 will never talk about this, but if he was a Muslim, they wouldn't shut up about it. Yeah, because this is Jew-controlled media, and they are always trying to make Muslims look bad, but they never want to mention if a person is Jewish because that makes them look bad. They are trying to manipulate white Americans into hating Muslims, their enemy, so that they will encourage Americans to support wars in the Middle East to fight Israel's enemies because they know that Israel's too weak to fight those wars themselves. They have to manipulate Americans to give endless amounts of money to Israel and to fight Israel's wars for it because they know Israel is a weak country. They work for the same group that Epstein did. They will not talk about Jewish pedophilia. No, they don't. Confirmed, Epstein was tied to Chabad. They even visited the island. Let's just take a look at this. I think that's getting cut off. Epstein supposedly had a hand in the appearance of microtransactions in video games. It really is every single time. Every single time. Epstein files former Labor Prime Minister Gordon Brown allegations. Brown is accused of raping a 9-year-old girl and being part of an alleged child sex ring. Disgusting and despicable. Unbelievable. Unbelievable what these people do. These disgusting people. No goyim in abundance, 100% Jew night. Yeah, we talked about that already. Epstein files show Epstein was ordered to kill someone. This is probably getting cut off, but I'll just read it. I give you permission to kill him. He is apparently living with, and then censored. He lied to you and he lied to me. Sent to Jeffrey Epstein from redacted. You can't see who it was sent by. Dan Blazarian says we need public executions for everyone implicated in the Epstein child sex trafficking and torture rituals. I agree. APAC has assembled 95 million ahead of its 2026 blah blah blah. Yeah, APAC is working on behalf. They're the main ones who bribe our politicians and force our politicians to sign loyalty oaths to the foreign state of Israel. Do not vote for a single politician that takes even a penny of APAC money. They are working on behalf of a foreign country. These people are traitors, every last one of them. Epstein had somebody's youngest daughter send him a pint of Mormon blood every week in exchange for a house and college fees. An email in the Epstein files from Esther Cohen, blah, 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 whatever they're. What is this? From Esther Cohen Tizer Epstein. Jeez. Describes using a turkey baster and a fertility ritual to impregnate her youngest daughter. Epstein bought her a house and got her oldest daughter into school by donating $50K to their gender studies program. In exchange, her youngest daughter had to send Epstein a pint of Mormon blood every week. Oh my God. Ugh. I want to throw up. More use of stuff. Look at all this use of stuff. Baal. Yeah. These satanic people worship fucking Baal. New Epstein files release reveals Jeffrey Epstein said the U.S. was helping ISIS. Yeah. I talked about this in another video. ISIS is a creation of Israel. Israel created and funded ISIS. The reason why they got all of those pickup trucks was because Israel bought it for them. Okay? ISIS is just a murder syndicate created by Israel to attack their enemies abroad. And by enemies, I mean Western countries. And to make Muslims look bad. An anonymous 4chan poster said that Epstein was wheeled out of prison hours before his reported death. Subpoenas showed that the man was Roberto Girolavalova, I don't know how to pronounce that, who was a lieutenant at the prison at the time. It appears really did get broken out of prison and flown to Israel. This is something I suspected myself. They claim that Epstein was cremated, his body was cremated. There's only one problem with that. Jews don't cremate their dead. They don't cremate their dead. So they allegedly cremated the body to destroy evidence of a body. And that's very suspicious. That was very suspicious to me, to cremate this person, Epstein, when Jews don't even cremate their dead. That just seemed like a front so that they could get Epstein out of the country. And we're probably going to see it later. Apparently, there's been like some reports that Epstein's old video game account has been active, and the location pointed towards the dude playing video games in Israel. But we'll get to that when we get to that. This is the same thing. Michael Wolff told Jeffrey Epstein there was a war between Jews and non-Jews, adding that Jews are presently winning after the removal of Steve Bannon from the NSC in 2017. It's going to get cut off, but it's just summarizing this stuff. In the newly leaked documents from the Epstein files, it has been revealed that Sheikh Mohammed bin Zayed Al Nahyan, president of the United Arab Emirates, Emir of Abu Dhabi, met with Jeffrey Epstein on his private island. Bin Zayed, who supports Israel in the massacre taking place in Gaza, is also implicated in the theft of gold in Sudan and its sale together with Israel. He looks pretty different here. Like, I mean, look at him here, and then look at him here. Like, he's partying it up with white women. This motherfucker. The feds knew Epstein was Mossad. Every rape, every moment of torture, and every kill was for Israel. Yep. ISIS and Al Qaeda are assets of the Mossad. It was confirmed. Yeah. So I already talked about this. Pause and read this stuff. Yeah. ISIS is just a murder syndicate created by Israel, the Mossad, to murder their enemies abroad. Remember that terrorist attack that happened in Russia? That was because of Israel. Yes, see here I'm just talking about this stuff and it feels good to be vindicated. And I link to that video I was talking about who really bought all those trucks for ISIS. I'll post a link to it in the description. John Trivers, a Jewish biologist, spoke with Epstein about feminizing men and transitioning children as young as 3 years old in the West in 2018. You can just read the rest on your own. Social engineering? Sounds like it. Epstein files. Epstein and Maxwell were Mossad agents trying to blackmail economic and political leaders. That's what I've been saying this whole time. Why are you right-wing guys so anti-Semitic? We all know Jews behind governments actually pull strings, Epstein says. Like who? People point at Epstein. Epstein says, me, guilty, so funny. That's literally what he was doing. You might have noticed that very few Jews, if any, have spoken out about Epstein, no matter their political persuasion. It's because they're forbidden under Jewish law from informing on each other to Gentiles when it might endanger fellow Jews' physical person or property, even when he is a wicked person who commits sin. And I observed this as well. This is the reason why Adam Chebot-Goldman was blindly defending Stan Lee, who's a Jew. Like I criticized Stan Lee and like long time ago because he didn't draw. He didn't he basically had other people do all the work for him while he didn't do any work at all. And I criticized him for that. And Chebot, a convicted felon, blindly defended Stanley just because he's a Jew. And it turned out Stanley said racist things as well. Like apparently there was this woman who worked at Stan Lee's place saying that she adopted a black child, and Stan Lee said, "Who would ever want to adopt a black child?" So these are the most racist people I ever met were Jews. In fact, it's okay to, under their law, to kill another Jew who breaks this law. I can't pronounce this. A monsieur? Monsieur? I don't know what that says. Any Jew who is remaining quiet on Epstein is putting Jewish law above us Gentiles. This is Jewish supremacy. Know them by their science. Yeah, silence. And you can just read this. I've observed this time and time again, like passive aggressiveness from Jews especially. A person will suddenly turn hostile towards you just because you criticized Israel and the genocide they're doing. And it turns out the reason why they turned hostile was because they are a Jew who's loyal to the foreign country of Israel. That's what Chebot did. Chebot was reticent about its true motives for its constant harassment and threats towards me. But what was motivating it this entire time was Jewish identity and the foreign country of Israel. That's what it was always about. Jeffrey Epstein reveals that Giselle's father, Robert Maxwell, was killed by the Mossad because he tried to extort 400 million pounds from them to keep silent about being their agent. Oy vey! Oy vey! Oy vey! He was still given an honorary funeral in Israel attended by an Israeli prime minister. This is probably going to get cut off. Peggy Siegel. Shit, she's fucking ugly. One of Hollywood's most powerful publicists told Epstein, "Can bring a little baby back for you or two, boys or girls, some Madonna." Satanic. Man, she's ugly. Homophobic Florida Governor DeSantis revealed as homosexual by new Epstein files. Isn't that just so typical? According to background information related to the Epstein case, a minor identified as Dusty Ray Duke accused Donald Trump of raping her when she was 14 years old in 1994. 5 years later, she filed a complaint, and 2 weeks later, she was found dead with a gunshot wound to the head in Oklahoma, in a case closed as a suicide. These unresolved events once again raise an uncomfortable question. How far does impunity go when power, money, and politics become intertwined? And this is what she looked like. Whoops, why is it not coming up? Male Epstein victim was allegedly raped by President Bush and witnessed a baby being cut into pieces. So yeah, oh man, this is disgusting. We touched on this a little bit before. This guy escaped justice, George Bush Sr. I hate him so much. Jewish supremacy in the Epstein files. Recently released emails, documents, and testimony contained in the Epstein files point to more than a network of abuse, revealing what appears to be an insular worldview grounded in hierarchy, entitlement, and contempt for outsiders. In private communications attributed to Jeffrey Epstein and associates, non-Jews are repeatedly referenced with mocking or derogatory language, reflecting what critics describe as a supremacist mindset operating alongside the abuse itself. Several of the released emails show Epstein using the term goyim, meaning non-Jews, in a dismissive and contemptuous manner. In one exchange with AI theorist Roger Schenck, Epstein refers to profits from shipping futures by writing about how the Jews make money, adding "let the goyim deal in the real world." Other communications show similar language used casually, suggesting that this worldview was normalized within Epstein's private circles. In another email exchange, Hollywood publicist Peggy Siegel, we saw her ugly face before, asked Epstein whether an event would be 100% Jew night, to which Epstein replied, "No goyim in abundance." JP Morgan execs brilliant wasps, that stands for white Anglo-Saxon Protestant. In a separate message, Epstein accused the recipient of behaving just like the goyim, "you do not respect," language which further underscores the recurring pattern of contempt reflected in the files. An older testimony from Epstein survivor Maria Farmer adds further context. In 2020 interview, Farmer said her abusers were motivated by an ideology of Jewish supremacy, citing a 1996 conversation with Giselle Maxwell in which she was told she would not be served food in an exclusive Jewish country club. Farmer stated that exclusionary attitudes towards non-Jews were a consistent theme among Epstein, Maxwell, and their associates. Maxwell had long been widely believed to have acted as Epstein's handler or oversee within his broader operation. Taken together, the material suggests that the Epstein files document not only systemic sexual exploitation, but also a closed ideological environment in which power, identity, and hierarchy were intertwined, in which contempt for non Jews was expressed openly and without apparent concern. I hate her face. So, even this guy is agreeing with me. Um, This is Peggy Siegel, prominent New York City publicist and Jewish supremacist who called non-Jews goyim and literally offered to bring back African children to Jeffrey in emails. I mean, look at the barrel jaw on this bitch. In what universe is this thing superior to even 1% of females, much less 99.5%? Jewish supremacy is just Jew cognitive dissonance derived from being hideous looking. Yep, I agree. These are some of the ugliest, most disgusting looking people. They're hideous looking. That's why they always get those nose jobs. The most popular cosmetic surgery in Israel is a nose job, rhinoplasty, named after the rhinoceros with its gigantic horn. It's not a nose. Um, Jewish Zionist billionaire Tom Prick, I'll just call him Tom Prick, bragged to Epstein that he was in Afghanistan with boys with toys, that it was his birthday wish, pure evil. Oh, that's anti-Semitic. That's anti-Semitic to point out it's anti-Semitic to say that Jews are ugly, even though she's a hideous bitch, and that she was saying racist things about the goyim. Fuck you. Email to Epstein says Jews winning non-Jews. Steve Bannon was removed from the NSC in 2017. Michael Wolff told Epstein the war between Jews and non-Jews, Jews presently winning. So we talked about that before as well. More Yusuf stuff. It wasn't until the Sharpeville massacre in 1960 was the world made aware of the apartheid in South Africa. Would there be a split between the MAGA morons or the global outrage were it not for the Al-Aqsa flood? Mm-hmm. The U.S. has warned Iraq that if it elects Maliki as a new prime minister, Iraq's access to its oil revenues will be restricted. Washington still controls Iraq's oil sales. Meanwhile, actual Jews, Goyim were born only to serve us. Without that, they have no place in the world, only to serve the people of Israel. Why are Gentiles needed? They will work, they will plow, they will reap, they will sit like an effendi and eat. I don't know what the fucking effendi is. That is why Gentiles were created. You know, Jews said that. Doesn't matter what his fucking name is. Israeli torturers in jails smashed the hands of skilled Palestinian surgeons so they could no longer practice in a hospital ever again. That's what Jews do. Peter Thiel and Epstein discussed the grand plan to keep the U.S. isolated and keep the world a mess with lots of bad guys so they have to do less to destroy us all. They intentionally played nations and people off each other to hide the fact that they were responsible for the chaos. Iraq, Iran, Libya, Syria, Palestine, Lebanon, Egypt would have to admit a strategy brilliantly executed, said Epstein. He is happy about the devastation in the Middle East. The DOJ accidentally unredacted the names of the victims. They did that on purpose. Epstein files revealed Jared Kushner was a student under Alan Dershowitz. The Mossad would call Dershowitz to debrief on his discussions with Jeff Epstein. Jared and John Kushner were both students under Alan Dershowitz. It's too blurry. Oh man. CEO of DP World Sultan bin Sulayem gives Epstein Quran lessons on friendship between Muslims, Jews, and Christians. Sultan then follows up with, I am off to sample a fresh 100% female Russian on my yacht. These people are, again, I have far more respect for sex workers than these degenerate scum. At least they're honest about what they do. So I'm going to read this. U.S. Senator Addie Aber found dead after exposing Israeli smuggling ring. They literally killed her. Israel fucking murdered a U.S. senator. But stupid X notes tried to say that she died from epilepsy complications. No, I don't believe that. Okay, and I'll say that when when the South Africa regime during apartheid era, they were the police were murdering apartheid civil rights leaders for black South Africans, and they murdered them. But on the death certificate, they said they died of epilepsy. So that is what's really going on. They just said she died of epilepsy, but that's not really what happened. They murdered her. Ex-Israeli Prime Minister Ehud Barak tells Jeffrey Epstein he repeatedly told Putin he wanted 1 million Russians to convert to Judaism and become Israeli to dramatically transform Israel. I used to tell Putin, always, what we need is just 1 million to change Israel in a dramatic manner to the million Russians. Man, I can't read, but it's phrased very poorly. Change Israel in a dramatic manner, the million Russians. And, it's just Jeffrey Epstein is just terrible at writing. Like, he doesn't know how to speak properly. He also adds that unlike the founding fathers of Israel, who had to accept people from North Africa and the Arab world, now they can be selective and control the quality much more effectively. So this is alluding to Black Africans, Ethiopian Jews, and the Mizrahi Jews, Arab Jews, like from Iraq, which, by the way, the Stern Gang, a Jewish terrorist group, blew up Iraqi Jews and framed Muslims for it. Yeah, that's what those Jews did. A biolab was just discovered in Las Vegas. It reportedly left people deathly ill with severe respiratory illness. The man running it? Ori Solomon, a Jewish Israeli. Hmm. Hmm. Is this being cut off? Hmm. He's so fucking ugly. So this is 14 minutes long. Should we watch the whole thing? I'll post a link to it in the description. FBI CHS report confirmed that Epstein trained as a spy under Israeli Prime Minister. Yeah, so we talked a lot about, like, do you need any more evidence that Epstein was working for the Israeli Mossad? I don't think anyone in Israel should feel sorry for those Gazans. A Haredi media figure, Yaki Adam Kerr, on Israeli CH14. As far as I'm concerned, let him starve to death.
בשבת שמחת תורה, ומה שהמשפחות והקרובים שלהם מתמודדים איתם עכשיו, זה אנחנו צריכים לרחם. העובדה שיש עשרות אלפי משפחות בדרום ובצפון שעדיין לא חזרו לבתיהם, אנשים שמתמודדים עם השכול, עם מציאות חיים שהם נולדו לה בוקר אחד, באופן כזה שהם לא חוו, על זה צריך לרחם. העזתים, מבחינתי שירבו למוות, מה אכפת לי מהם? למה צריכים שיהיה לנו אכפת מהעזתים? אנחנו מעבירים לשם סיוע הומניטרי שיבואו בטענות לחמאס, אותו חמאס אגב שהם פשוט תמכו בו, בחרו בו חלקם אגב צריך לומר, במשך שנים לא פצו פה עד הרגע הזה שפתאום מתהדק החבל סביב צווארם.
It always sounds like they're spitting every time they talk. It always sounds like they're about to hawk a loogie, these disgusting people. Even their language is gross sounding.
Apparently, the Epstein files showed that Jeffrey Epstein is Zoran Mamdani's dad. Turns out his mom was all over the Epstein files. And it turns out that all of this is just fake and being shared by a whole bunch of what are probably obvious bots. Made up AI images. I mean, like, they're fucking not even trying. Bro. But...
Whoops, sorry.
When you dig into the actual files and you look at Mira Nair, his mom, and actually where she's showing up in those files, it leads you right to one of the most interesting connections in the Jeffrey Epstein story that no one talks about, no one knows about, the media doesn't report on. And I guarantee you that this rabbit hole has depths. It has dirt all over the place. It has famous people. It's got it all. And this is a rabbit hole that people need to dig into. So Mamdani's mom is showing up just because she's a director of Hollywood movies. I don't know what she makes, but like independent films, highly acclaimed or whatever. And she's on all these different invitations and correspondences about various film events. And Jeffrey Epstein's connection to this world is Peggy Segal. And if you don't know about Peggy Segal, I'm about to put you on some fucking game. This is Peggy Segal, well into her 70s.
yeah, we saw
and
this
yes,
ugly
there
bitch
are
before.
references to what sounds an awful lot like adrenochrome in the Epstein emails. And this is Peggy with Brett Ratner, whole other rabbit hole. There are photos of Peggy with just about every famous person alive. You know. And the reason for that is because Peggy Segal is one of the most famous and powerful publicists.
Hold on, let me try to get a. Is this gonna fit? Like the problem is like the video just doesn't want to fit properly. Oh well, just bear with me.
In the world. She's the Hollywood connector. She's the woman that throws all the parties for all the movie premieres. So when you're premiering your big Hollywood movie, you get all of the famous people to come to your premiere. And the club is like, oh, it's very important. It's very important. And that's how movies work. That's how Oscars work. That's how the awards work. That's how all of it works. It's a big club and it's run by Jews. And Peggy was Epstein's direct line of access into this entire world. And she's got some lies to answer for now that the new emails are out. So back in 2019, when the whole first Epstein story broke, Peggy got super blacklisted immediately. No one worked with her. Everyone cut her off. She whined about it. I've always suspected, and I made content about this years ago, that I think that she got blacklisted because they were scared that if people start looking at Peggy, they're going to start looking at her book of contacts, and they're going to start looking at her relationship to Jeffrey a little too closely because there's a lot there. So here's the reporting from back then and all the lies she told. Her staff described a symbiotic relationship wherein Segal would receive gifts from Epstein, including travel expenses, and that at times she kept her studio clients in the dark about how she would bring him to the party. But she insisted through a spokesperson that her financial arrangements and everything ended by 2010 when Epstein was released from prison. Peggy is known for her list. All these important people, voting members of the Academy, New York socialites, influential motherfuckers, Hamptonites, downtown crowd, media figures, the club, the fucking club. She brags that her list is 30,000 contacts long. 30,000 of the most important club members, connected elites that she'll be inviting to these parties that Jeffrey Epstein will be attending and schmoozing at. Also, early life check because it's Hollywood. But of course, if you've seen the email releases, you didn't need the early life check because you would have read her and Jeffrey talking like this. Jeffrey's hosting a Yom Kippur redemption party, asking her for advice of who to bring. She responds, is it going to be 100% Jew night? Even Perelman on Yum Yum has some goyim. I'm getting my media elite list FedExed out for Saturday and we'll email some names. What about Jane Fonda, my new best friend? Nothing like an ex-Jew hater with a Jewish boyfriend to mix it up. Peg. Huh. Who else uses the term Jew hater all the time? It's almost like all the Zionists think in the exact same way as these people. Jeffrey responded, no, goyim in abundance. JP Morgan execs, brilliant wasps. Because the dirty goyim will be at the party because you got to extort the dirty goyim. Anyways, back in the day, Peggy's assistants told The Hollywood Reporter that, quote, he was always calling her and trying to hang out with her, another former staffer explained. He wanted to go to every party. When he was in town, she made a point of inviting him to things, noting that when he wasn't, including during his house arrest in Palm Beach, Peggy would send him screeners and keep him in the loop. Peggy was his connection to the entertainment world. Consider that a massive understatement. This staffer overheard Segal talking on the phone with Epstein. Peggy is like, you're not dating anyone, right? And he's like, well, I am, but you know, she's very young. And Peggy's like, stop it, stop. Because if she's a goyim, who cares if she's young, right, Peggy? Peggy got very famous because she threw the 2011 get out of jail party for Epstein, where Prince Andrew attended, along with Katie Couric, George Stephanopoulos, Chelsea Handler. I'm pretty sure that Woody Allen was there. That was the party that fucked Andrew's career up, and then he did that really horrible interview that he just totally shit the bed on. That was before this one, where we have emails about him torturing people, maybe to death, allegedly. Yes, these people are all monsters. But Peggy thought, quote, he said he'd served his time and assured me that he'd changed his ways. Because, you know, it's not a crime to lie to goyim, so who fucking cares, right, Peggy? So, Peggy gets blacklisted from the whole world in 2019 when the Epstein story really kind of comes out. No one's working with her, and she's whining about it and trying to do PR pieces, but eventually she slinks off into the shadows for a long time. But she claimed that she ended her financial relationship in 2010, and she didn't really know, and she thought he was all on the up and up, and we were just friends, it was no big deal. Yeah, these emails beg to fucking differ. So, aside from lots of correspondences like this one about the goyim, At a certain point, it looks like Peggy wanted Jeffrey's help auditing her company to make sure that all the money was straight, because there's a bunch of emails where Peggy Segal's team are sending all of her tax records and financial stuff to Jeffrey, and he's reviewing them all. And we get all this information from Brian Bantry, who runs like the shell company that runs Peggy. I think it's a tax sheltering concept where he runs a parent company that owns Peggy's company, and they pay her out, and he's domiciled in the UK, not in the US. And it's weird. But it says this: all invoices for the Peggy Segal company are issued by and paid to Wagging Tail, which is this Brian Bantry company, this shell company in England. All expenses for the Peggy Segal company are paid for by Wagging Tail. So everything that's going to get paid to Peggy goes to Wagging Tail, and everything that Peggy's going to pay comes from Wagging Tail. Wagging Tail Entertainment pays a commission fee to Peggy. The commission fee is equal to 60% of revenue less expenses. So she gets a 60% cut, and then the manager of her shell company gets 40. Sorry, it's like really bright out there. The only exception to this is for invoices issued to HBRK Associates, in which case 100% of revenue is paid to Peggy Segal, Inc. That is a Jeffrey Epstein company that was used to pay out victims. That's one of his money laundering assets. Jeffrey emailed one of his lawyers and accountants. I think Bantry is stealing, the guy that manages Wagging Tail. Do not mention this to Peggy's people. This explanation seems goofy. He takes the revenue, does not tell Peggy what it is, somehow calculates a 60-40 split. How often? What is he talking about? Not a very good friend to your friend Peggy, are you, Jeffrey? Here's one of Peggy Segal's accountants sending Jeffrey, please find attached a list of payments for each quarter made to Peggy Segal, Inc. from Wagging Tail in 2011. Wait, 2011? Yes, that's right. She asked for this fucking audit in 2011 after all financial connections were cut off. And then what follows is a shitload of profit and losses and tax documents. There's a bunch of emails of him paying for her travel expenses. Bunch of wire transfer documents directly from Jeffrey Epstein to Peggy Segal, as well as from Jeffrey Epstein to Wagging Tail, things like $25,000. There's invoices from Peggy's people to Jeffrey Epstein's people, as well as other invoices for their trip to St. Bart's. What were you doing in St. Bart's together? There's HBRK Associates documentation of payments made to Wagging Tail. It goes on and on and on. That Brian Bantry guy that runs Wagging Tail, I'm pretty sure I have a picture of him here somewhere. This guy, that guy, that guy. Well, his company has a dual registration as like PR and also as model and talent management. His father was big in the modeling industry. And as far as I'm aware, the FBI, none of the law enforcement ever went to Peggy and said, what the fuck is up with this? Despite having clear evidence that she's lying about the relationship was very significant and she was a connector to a lot of these fucking elites. So journalists, internet, sleuths, look into Peggy Segal, because there is so much smoke there. There is a reason why they blacklisted one of the most prominent and powerful Jewesses out of Hollywood in days of the Jeffrey Epstein story coming out. Not an accident. And Peggy, I hope they lock you up, and I hope the adrenochrome withdrawals fucking suck.
I agree. And she is butt ugly. I call people ugly when they have an inside to match their ugly exterior. I don't go around calling people ugly just because they're ugly. Only when they have an interior that's also ugly. You likely haven't heard of the Stanislav Grinberg and Peter Gunterman, Gizzard Unterman, but these are two Israeli Jews who have recently been indicted in Ohio for defrauding banks of $50 million in fake mortgages and then leaving taxpayers to pick up the bill to deal with their abandoned properties. Oh, you mean Jews engage in crimes and conspiracy? Huh. But liberals always told me that Jews are only ever victims and are innocent because they're brainwashed to do that by Jews. Ted Cruz, let's stop attacking pedophiles.
Senator Booker also said we should have bipartisan agreement. I think that's a great idea. We should have bipartisan agreement. How about we all come together and say, let's stop murders? How about we all come together and say, let's stop rape? How about we all come together and say, let's stop attacking pedophiles? And tragically, this...
he would. Ted Cruz is very much bribed by Jews to support a foreign country. And in a just world, he would be tried and imprisoned for his for being on the take. We imprison politicians who are corrupt that take money from foreign governments, but not from Israel, because Jews are controlling and manipulating the people in power with blackmail and bribery. It needs to stop. They even said, yeah, these are all the people reacting to this video. We must stop attacking pedophiles, according to Ted Cruz. The Jewish Zionist owner of Libs of TikTok, Chaya Reichik, has locked her account, can dish out a genocide of Gaza, but can't take the heat from the Jeffrey Epstein emails. So, Libs of TikTok, the owner is a Jew who is loyal to the foreign country of Israel. New Epstein files reveal an email titled "Photo from a Visit with Bibi Netanyahu." The attachment is completely censored. Looks like files connected to Benjamin Netanyahu are totally redacted. What a coincidence. I said, the world hates Jews because Jews defend Jews even when they rape, murder, torture children, eat children, commit genocide, and blackmail people to support genocide. This Jew literally said, if loving Nakba is wrong, I don't want to be right in their profile. So this Jew said in her profile, if loving Nakba is wrong, I don't want to be right. The Nakba was the genocide of the Palestinian people when Jews first arrived when they first established the degenerate Israeli state. They massacred Palestinian people, and this Jew loves the massacre of Palestinian people and brags about it. And then they wonder why everyone hates Jews. Don Bongino is angry that we want pedos arrested.
Mistakenly thought I wasn't coming back. Now,
I don't even know who the hell this guy is. I don't care. I'm assuming he's a Jew. I don't know who he is, but I'm assuming he's a Jew that's loyal to the foreign state of Israel. Here's a video of 76-year-old Hollywood Israeli producer Herschel Weingrod was caught having lunch with random 15-year-old child. This is a Jew. Just weeks later, he fled to the country of Israel.
Oh, she is?
I have no idea.
You have no idea?
I have no idea.
You have no idea?
No.
The fuck you thought was gonna happen here?
Nothing. We're gonna have a pizza. I don't know.
Pizza? Yeah, you don't know? How old is she?
Brad.
You know how old she is?
I matched with her. She was 23.
23. Is that what the conversation looked like?
You remember the text messages? She was 23 on a
23.
dating site.
On a dating site?
Yes.
Yeah?
Yeah, she was 23 on
How old is she?
site. I have no idea.
Lila, how old are you?
15.
I'm sorry. She was 23 on a dating site. All we've done is
So
talk.
she didn't tell you how old she was?
She did.
She did?
Yeah.
How old is she?
She said she was 15.
How did she tell you how old she actually is?
She said she's
15.
She said she's 15. Why are you here? Why are you sitting here?
I'm just having a
With a fucking 15-year-old?
pizza.
Piece of pizza with a fucking 15-year-old.
It's not against
You think
the
that's
law.
okay?
I think it's not against the law.
It's not against the law?
No.
Is that all you spoke about to her?
We've just been talking.
Really?
Yeah, we've been talking and flirting. It's not a big deal.
Where are you going?
Flirting?
I ordered a pizza. I'm going to go.
Okay,
get it.
have a seat. Have a seat.
Why?
I'll sit with you. I'll eat pizza with you. We're just having pizza, right?
Sorry.
Sit right here.
Sorry.
Sit right here.
Sorry.
Where? I don't know. Whoa, excuse me, sir. Excuse me.
You said you wanted a kiss, touch, and lick, whatever?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. It's just weird. I don't understand what people
So you're a
say.
pedophile trying to meet a 15-year-old. Oh, shit. I'm sorry. It's not a boy. It's a girl.
Whoa.
Yeah, you are.
Wait.
We need to hear audio.
Look at this guy. Look. Clown. All right. Let's go. Let's go. Yeah, I'm gonna say.
What are you doing? It's like,
I'm like, we can't grab him.
yeah.
Yeah, you can't.
Every accusation is a confession with these people. The swastika is an ancient 6,000-year-old symbol of good fortune, prosperity, and divinity, widely used in Hinduism, Buddhism, and Jainism. Native Americans.
Oh.
I don't know why it's playing that video still. Yeah, that is correct. It is a symbol of good fortune and all the rest, and it's used in Buddhism. I've seen it in Buddhist temples before. The same people who wrote these books are now crying anti-Semitism. Boo-hoo. Yes, diversity is about getting rid of white people, and that's a good thing. So, like, written by Emily Goldstein. Gee, I wonder if she's a Jew or not. Like, I saw these things before, but I never connected them to Jews. Like the white people who say they hate white people. You know, it turns out that these people were Jews. They were Jews, and you saw how Jews feel about non-Jewish white people. They hate them. Stand up to Goy hate. Oh yeah, this video was like someone whatever they modified this like commercial. You know, let's just watch it.
Let's go, Mom. We're gonna be late. Hi, Mr. Tony. Mom, what's that?
Nothing. Just get in the car. Let's go.
Who did that?
Come on. Right now. In. Get in. Right now. Let's go.
Did you paint it or something?
Move it. Seatbelt on. Right now. Put your seatbelt on.
Dramatic music.
Hi, Mr. Tony.
Stand up to go Oh man, that's funny. Like the original didn't say all that stuff, obviously. Like the original had like a swastika and like, you know, like it said like "fuck the Jews" on it or some shit like that. I can't remember. So like someone modified it so it said all that stuff because that's the real. Like, how would you even know that these people are even Jewish in the first place? You know, like it's a completely unrealistic video where like you know like someone just like spray paints on someone like fuck the Jews and a swastika and stuff like that, and the kid's like, mommy, what does fuck the Jews mean? Nobody does that in real life because how would you even know that they are Jewish in the first place? The only way you know someone is Jewish is if they express as Jewish in a conspicuous way, even either through the way they dress, the neighborhood they live in, or the rhetoric they spout, like Chebot did when Chebot just kept on calling me anti-Semitic over and over and over again, like a broken record. When they engage in Jewish identity politics, that betrays their Jewish identity, not physical traits.
Let's
That's
go, Mama.
stupid. This guy says going lives matter. That's funny. The GDL, the Goyim Defamation League. The ADL, by the way, the Anti-Defamation League, was founded to defend a Jew that raped and murdered a child. And the only reason why Jews like Chebot believe Leo Frank, the rapist and child murderer, the only reason why they believe that Jew is innocent is because he's Jewish. He was Jewish. That's it. That's the only thing that these Jewish supremacists care about. You can just read along. Here, the U.S. Holocaust Museum board member Mitch Weber asking about lenient sex tourism laws to engage in pedophilia. Wow. You can just read that. Seeing the Epstein files vindicates everything I said about the Jews. Yeah, it is vindicating. Israeli border police killed a 4-year-old Palestinian girl, then took 10 days to return her body. Youssef posted this. Epstein trained as a spy under Yeah, we saw that. FBI knew the entire time. Ben Shapiro is defending Epstein. Are we surprised? Do we want to watch this? It's only a minute long.
Okay, so there are lots of claims that are like this in these files, and trying to actually run down the source of the claims is really important because one of the things that happens in internet land is people will take unverified, salacious allegations that have not been run down by the FBI. They will then run those through the internet machine, and suddenly this becomes likely probable truth.
Blah, 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 blah,
Well, you
blah,
actually
blah,
have to
blah,
run
blah, blah,
down
blah,
each
blah, blah, blah,
specific
blah, 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 blah,
allegation
blah,
in
blah,
the
blah,
3.5 million pages of data before you run with the it's definitely true or it's verified.
I'm a Jew that's loyal to the foreign state of Israel, and I wear this cap on my head so that everyone knows I'm a Jew. And I've been manipulating the conservative American right by pretending to care about all the stuff that they care about, but I really don't care about it. I only care about Jews and the foreign state of Israel, and I'm trying to manipulate all the dumb goyim into supporting the foreign state of Israel, which is what I really care about. And I'm going to deny all the connections that Epstein had with Israel and Jews and I'm gonna also not. I mean, even though he called non-Jews goyim and goy and disgusting filthy animals and was raping the goy, and that's the reason why he was raping the goy. So I'm just paraphrasing everything that this Jew is going to be saying in this video, so you don't have to watch the actual video. So that's really what Ben Shapiro cares about. He cares about the foreign state of Israel. He doesn't care about American conservatism at all. He only cares about Jews and Israel and his mutilated dick. That's it. Here Andrew Tate says, oh yeah, we need to ignore the noise when it comes to Epstein, but was screaming, I'm a human trafficker with 1% of the evidence we have on the real scumbags. He's a full of shit little Jew. He was responding to Ben Shapiro. Photos of Epstein forcibly kissing teenage girl released. What a gross, disgusting Jew. This gross and disgusting Jew. Look at what this Jew is doing. A Jew is doing this. Look at where his hand is. And he doesn't give a single fuck. And look at what the snacks that the girl was eating. Just little cookies. Jake Shields says, I love watching these terrorists being eliminated. This is a video from Gaza. Let's move on. This is about the Epstein files, so let's focus. Oh yeah, this is PayPal demanded we explain 2 very small donations in order to restore our account and release our funds. So I tracked the donor down and interviewed them. What I learned essentially confirmed that PayPal is an arm of Five Eyes. Stay away from PayPal. Let's see. This is 8 minutes long. Do we want to watch this? I mean, this is already a video about the Epstein files to fall asleep to. That's basically what this video is becoming. Okay, let's watch it then. Let's cue it up.
This October, PayPal suspended the Gray Zone's account, blocking our audience from donating to us without explaining anything to them and preventing us from accessing several thousands of dollars we'd already received. In order to regain access to our account, PayPal is asking me to go through an invasive process in which I have to provide photo ID, tax forms, and explain 2 very small donations from a private citizen in Australia. More on that in 1 second. First, let me acknowledge that many of you warned us not to use PayPal because it's been comprehensively integrated into the surveillance state after being founded by a mafia of tech warlords, including Peter Thiel, Reid Hoffman, and Elon Musk. We knew PayPal was not to be trusted. In fact, it blocked our editor, Wyatt Reed, back in 2022 before he worked for us, and after he returned from a reporting trip in the Donbass, where his hotel was targeted by Ukrainian artillery, nearly killing him. PayPal has banned other independent anti-war outlets in the past, seizing thousands of dollars they raised, again, without any explanation. It seems obvious they were doing this under pressure from Five Eyes intelligence. But because I'd been soliciting donations through PayPal since I established the Gray Zone back in early 2019, I decided to ride out the storm until they finally came for us. And now, here we are. I mentioned earlier that PayPal has demanded I explain 2 donations totaling $40 from an individual in Australia. This seems to be the main justification for our suspension. So I looked into the person to see if there was anything suspicious there. All I knew about this donor was that his name was Nasrallah Abbasi and that he lived in Australia. Were we being surreptitiously funded by some IRGC asset or a bad actor? To find out, I decided to email Nasrallah and ask him for an interview. He graciously agreed, and through our discussion, I learned about the fascinating life this gray zone donor had lived and how utterly insane it was that PayPal had flagged his modest donations to us. Nasrallah was born and raised in Iran. He told me that after the revolution in 1979, when his country came under attack from Saddam Hussein's Iraq, he was conscripted into the Iranian military and witnessed bloodshed and chaos during the first year of the Iran-Iraq War. He was actually a leftist who supported the revolution in its early stages, but opposed the Ayatollah, and wound up leaving the country after his fellow travelers began to be jailed.
Before revolution started, I think I was with the lefties. That's why I left country. There's a lot of things was happening in Iran, with a lot of chaos, a lot of bad things would happen to the people weren't with the things. We never done anything wrong to the government or anything, but we were prosecuted. A lot of good people got punished because for no reason whatsoever, because the less qualified people after revolution, they got to the power.
So when Nasrallah left, he went to work as a seaman, traveling the world for 5 years before he settled in Sydney, Australia. Like many Iranians, Nasrallah has had his criticisms of his country's political system, but he now believes that regime change will bring disaster and ultimately the dissolution of Iran as a sovereign nation. So he opposes it.
Because it doesn't matter what they are. They shouldn't be go right now, because it's very, very important for Iran. If the regime falls, then I think Iran will become several countries, just like a Balkan.
Why have you supported the gray zone?
I support gray zone because I see you people haven't sold your soul to the devil's mind. That's simple. To me, for me, I'm not much max. I've got only 10 years, 10 high school. I don't have. Whatever education I got, I learned in the street, colleges of the street, max. I've been seaman nearly 5 years. So you know what, when you are a seaman, you are a seaman. You know so many different things, so many different countries.
Nasrallah insisted to me that he's not involved in any form of political activism in Australia. However, and this is where it gets really interesting, he told me that his wife was recently accosted by Australian police while leaving a religious center.
A couple of months ago, less than 2 months ago, went to one of these hotels, because she's Muslim, my wife. My wife is Muslim, she prays everything, but she always prays for everybody. Just normal person, like everybody else. But she's Muslim, she's Shia. She went to this hotel here. She told me I was at work. When I got home, she said, today police stopped me and told me, yeah, what you doing here? What people doing in the hotel here? And she said, police show me my photo when I'm coming out of the hotel here.
This is like
This is my wife, which has nothing to do with nothing. No politics, no nothing. She's just a normal lady.
We know that Australia is an increasingly unfree Five Eyes member posing as a liberal democracy. In 2024, a wave of extremely suspicious anti-Semitic incidents swept the country, which turned out to be the work of apolitical criminals and local miscreants paid from abroad. And the country most likely to benefit from the backlash, Israel, nudged Australian intelligence to issue the baseless claim that Iran was responsible for this anti-Semitic wave, leading Canberra to kick out the Iranian ambassador. In the wake of the Bondi Beach mass shooting by ISIS sympathizers this month, Israel has again pushed Australia to escalate hostilities with Iran, while demanding an anti-free speech crackdown targeting activists for Palestinian liberation. In other words, people like us. Now, I can't prove that Israeli pressure resulted in PayPal blocking us, but we need to ask why PayPal's compliance team is so focused on 2 small donations from a retired Iranian immigrant in Australia whose wife was facing harassment from local authorities for simply attending mosque services. It's really not a stretch to conclude that PayPal is subjecting us to political persecution on behalf of some very malign forces. I will try to recoup the money they've blocked, but we won't be working with PayPal again. And we're urging everyone to avoid this slimy, spook-infested Silicon Valley company. For those of you who've had your donations to us blocked by PayPal, just visit the support page on our website or on our Substack newsletter, and you'll find a new, more reliable way to support our work. We're now partnering with a company that's given us their word that they will not seize our funds or suspend us on political grounds, and we intend to hold them to that. With your help, we can continue to expand the gray zone, to support the newest member of our team, filmmaker and journalist Kay Pritzker, and to fulfill our simple mission to tell you what they don't want you to know.
Yep. That's what Jews do. My monetization got suspended on YouTube, ostensibly because I was inactive for over a year, but I was inactive for over a year because of the constant harassment I was getting from SS Sniper Wolf's White Knights and also Chebot. So I was inactive for like about a year. Even though I did post a video within the time frame, YouTube still demonetized me because they were trying to demonetize me anyway. And of course, Chebot gets paid to censor me in Bitcoin, and it's being paid through an intermediary like Beitar or the ADL or some other dummy corporation or shell company, whatever they want to call it, and they pay it in Bitcoin to censor people, which is exactly what happened to my 2 Twitter accounts and what happened to this Twitter account. But let's move on. This is how Jewish supremacists silence criticism of Israel by going after your money. Russian Foreign Ministry spokeswoman says Epstein files expose how Jewish Western elites treat children nothing more than cattle and meat. America's reputation is finished thanks to Jews.
Basically, they do not care. And Epstein materials, which were published during these days, give us a proof of how the Western elite treats children, including their own children. Basically, they do not care any longer on what their fate will be. You see how they treat them. Imagine those who for decades subjected kids to violence, and they did it en masse, involving more victims, underage children, and adults.
I hate these people. I really do. China bans all new investments in Israel. Israelis plan to sue Chinese companies for refusing to invest. Actually, there was a good video made by, oh man, I'm forgetting his name, but he did a great video which actually exposed the truth behind this. I mean, China absolutely should be banning all investments in Israel, but basically, China just ruled that these investments are too high risk. And so legally, they can't invest in Israel anymore because it's just simply too high risk. It's a risk assessment and it's not subject to persuasion. Okay, so you can't sue for this, you stupid fucking Jewish supremacists. Israeli authorities closed the rape investigations involving former Gaza captive Mia Shem and a prominent Tel Aviv fitness trainer. So this woman, this Jewish woman, was not raped by Hamas. She was raped by a Jew, a Tel Aviv fitness trainer. And then when she was raped by a Jew, she actually said she felt safer with Hamas. Epstein victim Maria Farmer said Epstein clients were Jewish supremacists who saw themselves as the chosen race, believing their DNA made them superior to Gentiles.
I wasn't allowed to go get food. And when I called Ghislaine and asked why I couldn't eat there, she said, it's a Jewish country club. You're not Jewish. They're not going to serve you. This is how this woman spoke to me. Yeah, this is how these people think, Whitney. They, honest to God, think their DNA is better than everybody else's. I swear to you. It was a theme all the time with them. With Eileen Guggenheim, with, Jeffrey Epstein, with Ghislaine. It was a theme. Jeffrey was a lot less horrible than Ghislaine as far as a human being, like just being around, because she was raping just as many children.
So the country club, you weren't allowed to go because it was
know.
only for, people of a certain religion
Jewish
and
people.
Ethnicity. Okay, so
Religious.
that's unfortunate.
I mean, they could cut you down, and it was so morally devastating. You just felt useless as a human being when you were.
And these pieces of shit have the audacity to make themselves to be victims. That's what pisses me off the most.
You're told you're nothing because you're not Jewish, you're stupid, you're useless, a useless white girl, a poor little peasant. Just the things that I was called, I was just like, I believed it, because it was like a cult, the problem. Yeah, you wouldn't believe the way Jeffrey and Ghislaine spoke about African Americans. It was like, it made my skin crawl. Anybody who was not Jewish, and you can write about this.
The most racist people I have ever interacted with in my entire life were Jews.
But the way they spoke about them, it was really horrifying. And it showed me a great deal about how these people truly believe that they're chosen to do something here. I don't know. It's unbelievable to me. And it was every one of them, the way they spoke. And one time I heard Isabel say to her mother, Eileen, Mommy, why do you call Maria a nobody? And she said, honey, Isabel, Maria is not a Jew. She is a nobody.
Well, it is worth
So you
pointing,
can see why for about 20
that type
years.
of stuff I might actually include just because the Maxwell family has
You
ties
should
to
include
this
it.
group
You
that's,
should include it.
What's it called? Chabad Lubavitch. And group
got it.
openly talks about how only Jews are human and the rest of human beings are like cattle, basically.
The most racist people I have ever met in my entire life were Jews. Joanna Rubinstein, a Jew in Sweden, has stepped down as chair of Sweden for UNHCR after it's been revealed that she visited Jeffrey Epstein on his pedo island in 2012. At the time, he was already a convicted sex offender. She went on the island fully aware of his conviction. She's still on the board member for several children organizations. Get this bitch booted from every single org. Jewish supremacy is the most significant problem in America today.
White supremacy doesn't exist, but Jewish supremacy does. And the Epstein files proves just that. I want you to imagine a gaggle of powerful white elite talking down on the rest of society, calling them cattle and slaves, saying that people will bow down and do as they're told. I want you to imagine a gang of blacks doing the same thing. There would be civil unrest across this country, if not the entirety of the Western world. But the moment it's discovered it's a cabal of rich and powerful Jews who are blackmailing powerful political figures and celebrities to stir up dissent both domestically and internationally for political and financial gain, it devolves into a partisan issue between Republicans and Democrats. This is a racial supremacy problem. This has nothing to do with left or right, Republican or Democrat, conservative or liberal politics. We can't sit here and demand accountability from white people or demand black people take accountability for their actions. But the moment that we question Jewish power and Jewish supremacy in this country, you're called a fucking anti-Semite and it devolves into political partisan bullshit. People keep saying that there's nothing that will come of this, but there is something that very much will. This is a time for black and white Christian men to challenge the political establishment in Western countries with an unwavering and relentless amount of force. Wake up, niggas.
Yeah. And Emma Vigeland of the Majority Report had the temerity to say that secret Jewish cabals don't exist. That's just an anti-Semitic conspiracy theory. Well, it turns out that, yes, they absolutely do. But even before the Epstein files came out, I have been saying that, what are you implying, Emma Vigeland? Are you implying that cabals, that Jews don't have cabals? What do you think a cabal is? A cabal is just a courtier. It's just a group of people. And are you saying that Jews don't have secret groups? Because that's what a secret cabal would be. Every single other race, ethnicity, religion, group of people on planet Earth, every single other person on planet Earth or people on planet Earth has had secret cabals. And you're implying, Emma Vigeland, that only Jews don't have them. That is Jewish supremacy. It is when you have special rules for Jews and that you don't extend to anyone else. Emma Vigeland and Sam Cedar collectivize Jews as innocent and as victims and as oppressed. They never want to call people Jews when they are guilty of rape, murder, or genocide, or everything else you've seen here. All the satanic, disgusting things that they've done to children, raping, murdering, and torturing children. Let's say they lied, fleeced, and betrayed us all. Let's just watch this.
Just think about it. The news is owned by Jews, created by Jews. The media, owned by Jews. Our government, clearly owned by Jews. The curriculum in your schools, your textbooks, owned, created by Jews. Gender ideology, which is ruining the family unit, created by a Jew. Now, this isn't an attack on Jews as a whole, right? Because there are people who are born Jews who don't practice Judaism. But when you look at the Talmud, their holy book, this is what they base Jewish law off of. Here's a screenshot of what they say about non-Jews, aka Goyim. They think that it's okay to molest a child as long as they're...
I'll just add that any quote-unquote Jew that doesn't agree with this stuff and is ashamed of what their people have done, it's very simple. Just renounce being a Jew, because Jew is a social construct and a choice. No one is forcing you to be a Jew. It is not an innate trait. It is a social construct. Renounce being Jewish, because there is nothing salvageable in Jewish identity. Absolutely nothing. It is forever stained with the blood of Palestinian people, which Jews have committed genocide against. If I were Jewish, I would be so ashamed of being Jewish. I would say, I renounce you, motherfuckers. I want nothing to do with you disgusting people who have raped and murdered children and tortured children and sacrificed children and ate children. I want nothing more to do with you. You are disgusting people.
3 years old. They have a duty in their holy book to lie to non-Jews about what's in the Talmud. If they ask, hey, what does it say about non-Jews? They're supposed to lie to you about it. These are the people that you're allowing to frame this narrative about the Holocaust where they are victims, right? Look at what they're doing in Gaza. They're not victims. They are perpetrators. They've been kicked out of hundreds of countries because of their holy book, because of what they believe. They believe that you are not even a human being. You are cattle if you're not a Jew. It's time for you to wake up. Watch Europa, The Last Battle. It's available on BitChute and Rumble. It's a 12-hour documentary, but it takes a long time to undo a decade of brainwashing that you've been subjected to as a child. So don't come in my comments calling me anti-Semitic if you're not willing to spend the time to unlearn what they've brainwashed into you.
Yeah, and I'll also say that it took some time for me to come around. I mean, I know exactly how liberals think because that's the background I come from. I used to think like they do because I was brainwashed too. I say here, oh yeah, this thing. This Jew Gaft, he literally admits that anti-Semitism in the form of dirty Jew doesn't exist, but rather people saying free Palestine is. That's really what they think is anti-Semitic. So, yeah, this Jew was criticizing a commercial. I don't know if I posted it on my timeline or not, where it shows a very unrealistic scenario similar to that mother and child situation where they stuck like a post-it note saying dirty Jew on the back of someone's backpack. This is an unrealistic scenario. What Jews really think is anti-Semitic is people saying free Palestine. That's the realistic scenario. That's what they really think is anti-Semitic. Epstein confirmed he was an Israeli spy. Yeah, no shit. We have gone through this a gajillion times already. Emails show Jeffrey Epstein and Jewish lawyer Mitchell D. Weber discussing how to transport minors for sex and exploit age of consent loopholes. He has long worked on litigation and policy related to anti-Semitism, the anti-Israel BDS movement, and related issues. He serves on the board of the Louis D. Brandeis Center for Human Rights Under Law, focused on combating anti-Semitism on campuses, really meaning pro-Palestinian stuff. He was appointed to the U.S. Holocaust Memorial Council, governing body of the U.S. Holocaust Memorial Museum. Alan Dershowitz, Jeffrey Epstein's lawyer and friend, is smearing one of the Epstein victims, labeling her anti-Semitic because she revealed that she was abused and trafficked by Jewish men.
People I met a pedophile because she focused on a woman named Farmer. Now, Farmer accused lots of people. All of them were Jewish. She said, quote, I have a hard time with Jewish people. All the Jewish people I met are pedophiles who run the world economy. She talks about the Rothschilds. She is a blatant anti-Semite and a liar.
Yeah, because Jews are raping and killing kids. Okay? You can't rape and kill kids and then expect people to like Jews. People are going to hate Jews when you rape and kill kids, you stupid Jewish supremacist piece of fucking shit. Go fuck yourself. This guy defended, by the way, O.J. Simpson for money, even though he murdered a Jew.
She said she didn't accuse me, but she said she saw me in Jeffrey Epstein's house before I ever met Jeffrey Epstein. She clearly, provably lied about me. And so what we have, because she focused.
So here's Jeffrey Epstein calling victims anti-Semitic. Being called anti-Semitic is a badge of honor. Okay? And it's also an opinion, by the way. Even the ADL admitted that anti-Semitism is an opinion. You can call anyone or anything anti-Semitic. It's a worthless word. Jeffrey Epstein and Alan Dershowitz are both anti-Semitic, and I can say that because it's an opinion. It means nothing. These are the most anti-Semitic people around. They're not Semitic people. They're not Semitic people. They are Europeans from Europe. That's why they're white and have no malaria resistance. Let's watch this.
Want every single person inside of our democratic institutions and how corrupt they are. And I want every single person inside of the Epstein files, including the innocent people, including you, including Elon, including everyone, to be investigated to the full force of the law, because it is not down to them to admit wrongdoing. That is why we have a rule of law. Criminals do not admit they did things wrong. They go to court and they prove they did nothing wrong. And what I am saying is that the British state has plenty of time. They have plenty of time to arrest people for tweets.
Yeah, you made the point.
Plenty of time to arrest people for nothing. So they should be investigating this huge pile of evidence. And the real questions are these. Why did they ignore the pile of evidence for a decade? 1. 2, who paid Jeffrey Epstein and made him so rich? 3, what were they?
I'll answer that question. It is Israel, but also Jeffrey Epstein was blackmailing people for his own benefit. So when he was blackmailing people for Israel's benefit, he was also blackmailing people for his own benefit. They were paying him money, and that's how this loser gotten billions of dollars and accumulated wealth through blackmail, and also being paid by Jews from Israel.
You made all these points, yeah.
What decisions have taken place that have affected the lives of British people based on the back of bribe money paid to pedophiles as opposed to the will of the electorate? What laws need to be undone?
Andrew,
So Piers Morgan keeps on interrupting him because Piers Morgan apparently is in the Epstein files himself. And I saw that photo of him with Jeffrey Epstein. And Piers Morgan is being blackmailed by Jews to advance Jewish supremacy and Israel. And he's been doing this since the Al-Aqsa flood. He's a piece of shit too. Let's see. Ian Carroll says it's not left versus right in 2026. It's the human race against the billionaire pedophiles and the Jewish saboteurs that blackmail them. You can just read this. We're going to move on. British surgeon who returned from Gaza exposes a shocking truth about Israeli army. He says Palestinian bodies of children return with hearts, lungs, and livers removed.
So it appears Israel have resumed the harvesting of Palestinian organs. A British Palestinian surgeon, somebody who can not be labelled a Hamas member, has spoken out about the photographs he has received of cadavers that were handed over by Israel. And he notes that it appears highly indicative that there has been organ harvesting occurring. He has said that the bodies show clearly surgically removed lungs, hearts, kidneys and livers done in a professional surgical way using specialized tools with zero damage to surrounding tissues. All of these bodies also belonged to Palestinians who had, of course, been imprisoned while they were alive, which is one of the hallmarks of organ harvesting. Israel, as we know, have form on this. Government officials in the past have admitted that Israel have harvested the skin, corneas, heart valves and bones of Palestinians right up until the year 2000. So to turn around and say that it all started on October 7 is, a libel in itself. But I'd suspect the argument here is that Palestinian organs were perhaps promised to the Israelis by God 3,000 years ago. There's no other way to say it. It is indisputable that this is another indictment on Israel that proves they are simply evil. You have to remember that it is alleged that during the Holocaust there were all kinds of human experiments perpetrated by the Nazis, all kinds of organ harvesting and all of that. So it's so ironic that not only are the Israelis now committing a genocide against Palestinians, they are going the whole way to the levels of depravity that the Nazis did. Utterly unbelievable.
Every accusation is a confession with these people. I can't even watch it all. Fucking sick. They must die, all of them. Yeah, these people are sick. CBS reported that an unidentified person was seen entering Jeffrey Epstein's jail tier at approximately 10:39 p.m. on the night of his death, according to newly released DOJ video footage. This was never reported in any official accounts or reports until now. Interesting. Let me be blunt to the Jews, there's no coming back from this. I agree. And there's nothing worth salvageable, as far as I'm concerned, when it comes to Jewish identity. Here's my boy Youssef talking about. Yep. If this man was a Muslim, yeah, this is pointing out the double standards between Jews and Muslims. Oh yeah, this is the thing I was talking about before. Jeffrey Epstein's account, Little's Jeff1, whatever, it played Rocket League less than 3 days ago. The profile also has the Israeli flag on it. So this is, I guess, this is probably going to get cut off, but this is Jeffrey Epstein's Rocket League video game account. Yeah, he's chilling in Israel just playing Rocket League. This motherfucking pedophile. Russia Today commented on this very story. Epstein is alive and plays Fortnite in Israel. Crazy theory goes viral. Online sleuths claim a Fortnite account, Little Jeff 1, linked to Epstein, stayed active after his 2019 death, buying V-Bucks and later showing Israel and its location. The account was set to private today. So you guys can read and make up your own minds about what all this means. You tell me, because who knows? All I'll say is that it's been said that his body was cremated, and like I said before, Jews do not cremate their dead. They don't do that. Okay? They said his body was cremated to destroy any evidence of a body. All right, so we are about 2 hours into this story. And yeah, this video didn't begin as reading the Epstein files to fall asleep to, but it kind of became that. But I feel like this is a good place to stop for now. I will do a part 2, and we will pick up where we left off. See you then.